this room has found community, belonging, and an enhanced sense of self-worth by being members of SEIU. Our union is great because when we are faced with a challenge, we don't say no, we say how. And we value diverse voices and celebrate our differences by coming together. As a gay man, I have experienced oppression, discrimination, and my own internal struggle in accepting who I am. And I want to say this clearly. Sexual orientation is not a choice. It is not a lifestyle. It is not a preference. It is an innate part of who a person is, just like their race, gender, or place of birth. The realities facing 2S LGBTQIA+ people are both painful and urgent. Too many people in our communities continue to experience harm, exclusion, and violence. Many report serious mental health challenges. 2S LGBTQIA youth face disproportionately high rates of suicide risk. Deeply troubling number of homeless youth identify as 2S LGBTQIA+. And over the past decade, hate crimes targeting this community have risen dramatically. Now, these are not isolated facts. They are signs of systemic oppression. They are signs of inequality that is built to our institutions, built into policies and culture. And while these experiences are deeply felt in the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, they are not unique to it. Many equity-seeking communities know what it means to be excluded, to be erased, to be targeted, or told that they do not belong, or told that there's something wrong with them for simply being who they are. Now, I know the topic of sexual orientation and gender identity can be a challenging topic to navigate for some. And this is maybe due to religious or cultural beliefs, lack of knowing someone in the community, or because you may have questions. And that is okay. But we must all, as a union and as a society, work towards human rights for all, because an injustice to one is an injustice to all. Exactly. That is exactly why this work matters, and why this conference matters, and why you being here today, learning from each other, and taking action is so important. And that's why the voice of our next speaker is so important. Jeremy Diaz is a nationally recognized human rights advocate, a change maker, and the founder of the Canadian Centre for Gender and Sexual Diversity. For more than 2 decades, Jeremy has been a powerful voice for the 2S LGBTQIA+ community and rights, equity, inclusion in Canada and internationally. Jeremy currently serves as a senior policy analyst with Indigenous Service Canada, working with the First Nation communities in support of reconciliation. He's also the visionary behind the International Day of Pink, a movement that has inspired people across the country and around the world to stand up against bullying, discrimination, homophobia, and transphobia, and hate. Now, please join me in welcoming Jeremy.
Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm so excited to be here, and I really only have 2 words to share with you, which is, for me, a really important message that I want to leave you with. But before I do that, I want to share a bit of a story. I was born in Alberta. I moved to Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario when I was in high school, and I had a really tough time. 20 years ago was before land acknowledgements. It was before residential school stories were part of our curriculum. I remember identifying as gay and going to the library, and I found this book about queer people coming to Canada. It was painted as this narrative of like gayness is happening eventually. It was back in the day where you'd take out a book from the library and you'd have a card on the back. And I remember putting my name and looking at the other names ahead of me, and there was no one else there. When I came out in high school, I had a really tough time. I was beat up, I faced violence, I faced discrimination. I was left in a locker overnight, and I remember my principal walking past me and me banging on the door, and he didn't even turn towards me. One day, I had a really bad day. I was walking to school, it was raining, I got soaking wet, someone had graffitied my locker, the custodian said she didn't want to clean it because she didn't want to catch the gay. Someone ripped up my homework, I tripped up the stairs, I walked to science class, and a kid called me a loser. And I remember turning around and thinking, he didn't even look back to see his reaction to me. He didn't even care. For him, it was one joke, one moment, just fleeting away. And for me, it would stay with me for the rest of my life. I got into science class, and as usual, people called me names and made fun of me. Nobody said anything. We got put into groups. Mike started calling me names and insulting me. Nobody said anything. My teacher didn't say anything. The people around me didn't say anything. I didn't say anything because I tried everything. I tried fighting back. I tried speaking up. I tried telling my parents and teachers, but nothing ever worked. So I closed my eyes and I gave up. And I wished I was dead. But in that silence and in that moment, with my eyes closed, a sound said stop. And I looked up, and it was this girl, and she stood up for me. And in that one moment, in that one word, it stopped. We blew up our science volcano, we left class early, and I asked her why she stood up for me. She looked at me and she said, because you seem like a nice person, and when someone calls you a loser, every day of your life you start to believe it. But she said one nice thing, and I felt like a human again. When my school didn't let me go to prom with my boyfriend, she took me. She rented a car, got a Cadillac, she cut her hair short, she dressed up like a dude, it was awesome. After prom was over though, we went back to a friend's house and we were eating ice cream on the couch, and this person, Jessica, said I should sue my high school. So I did, I sued my high school, and as many of you know, fighting the system takes forever. So I started my lawsuit in grade 12. And by my second year of university, 20 years ago, something happened. So I moved from Sault Ste. Marie to Ottawa because I wanted to go to the big city, you know? I wanted to meet other people like me. I wanted to go on dates. I wanted to fall in love. I wanted to live. And one day, I went to the bar with my friends, who were all girls, and somebody gave me his number, and Sheena was like, all right, you got what you wanted, I'm out of here. And I ended up dancing with this dude all night, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like holding on to this piece of paper, and I'm just so happy. Sheena, however, was not happy. She drank too much and ended up in my dorm room throwing up, and I came up to my dorm room, which was sort of apartment style, if you want to imagine it. And she's just throwing up on my couch, into a waste paper basket, of course, into a garbage can. She's fine, no mess. And I put the note on my desk and checking in on Sheena, and all of a sudden we hear a knock at the door, and I'm like, what is going on? It's like 2 o'clock. It's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I go to the door, and this dude is screaming these homophobic profanities at me. He's just losing it, and he bangs at the door, and I go to lock it, because you don't lock the door, you know, like who locks the door? And I go to lock it, but before I can, he pushes it open, and I fall to the floor. He starts beating on me, and Sheena screams out the window at the security guards on campus walking by, and she's like, help, help, they're attacking him. They call the on-campus police, they show up, they come up the stairs, and like violence, a fight, a physical moment like this, I mean, it seems like forever, but it's just seconds. You think, you know, in that moment, you're gonna like whip out your self-defense training, or you're gonna do that thing that you thought you'd do from the movies, and you don't. He's just sucker punching you in the back of the head over and over again. And all you can see is this sort of flash of light every time the hit happens. The sounds and the screams and the movement and the Sheena and the police and the people coming up the stairs, the sound of their boots. And they rip him off of me. He's screaming, he's shouting. He's calling me all kinds of names. And the cop looks at me and says, oh, these people come to Canada and they make these fights happen. And I'm just lying there, totally motionless. And on his way out, with the blood from my head, with his finger to my door, as they carry him out, he writes the word fag on my door. I'm lying there. They take him out. Another police officer picks me up, drops me into my living room dining chair. And she hands me a paper, and blood falls from my face onto the paper. And she says, I have 30 minutes to fill it out before she goes. I fell over, and I wake up in the ambulance. And I wake up again in the hospital. And one of you is sitting with me. One of you is holding my hand. One of you is telling me it's going to be okay. And you know, when they talk about inclusion, they don't talk about the hug. When they talk about caring and work, they don't talk about the kindness. When they don't talk about what you get paid for, they don't talk about wiping away the tears. And they don't talk about this nurse looking at me and saying, hey, I heard what happened. What can I do to help? My son, he's gay, and he told me, because I asked him for advice, what I can do to help you. Do you want me to go to your house? I maybe clean up a little, maybe take down any rainbow flags in case your parents don't know. I want you to know they've been called. Do you want me to tell them anything? Do you want me to not tell them anything? And I thought, oh my gosh, this was the nicest thing ever. She's gonna be so happy to find out my mom bought me the rainbow flag. And because I'm standing between you and lunch, I just want to say one thing to you, which is thank you. What you're doing today, what you're doing tomorrow, and what you'll do after that, with what you learn this next 24, 48 hours, it makes a difference in everybody's lives. Cultural competency and diversity and equity and inclusive language, those are beautiful and important words. But when we put them to practice, we don't just help people feel better. We change lives. We shape the world we live in to just bend a little closer to justice, human rights, equity, fairness. And what that means for me is in the darkest moment of my life, you were my ray of sunshine. So the one message I want to leave with you, 2 words, is thank you.